Hello and welcome to the live orienteering coverage of the 2018 World Cup Round 3, coming to you from Østfold in Norway. I'm Catherine Bett, my expert is Jonas Mertz, and we're bringing you 2 hours of first the women's and then the men's pursuit races. It's a format rarely seen at the World Cup, and we're hoping for some exciting racing today. This is how it works. They were in the forest this morning, where the women had 3.3 kilometers of racing, and then into this forest this afternoon. The winner from earlier today starts first. That is Tove Alexanderson, and she won by 1 minute and 23 seconds ahead of Anastasia Rudnaya. So that gap is doubled, and then that will be the new time starting, the new time difference for Anastasia Rudnaya starting today. So she will start 2 minutes 46 seconds. So the double the gap, because it is about double the distance this afternoon, 5.9 kilometres for the women. And it should be a very exciting race. And of course, not just the win today, getting some experience for the World Championships coming to you from the same area, similar area this time next year. So there is a crowd here today, and it's about 20 degrees. It's looking pretty good, a lot warmer than yesterday. And it has clouded over a bit more compared to this morning, but good running conditions. All of the competitors have made their way into the quarantine area and have been warming up around the field. This is the same Finnish arena as yesterday, so they will be pretty familiar with that and with the terrain. But it's 5.9 kilometres, 16 controls, and our estimated winning time today, 47 minutes. So 47 minutes time, we should get our winner through. This is the course.
Yeah, and we see that in the very beginning they head into a green area, which is good if you only have a few seconds down to your to the other runners. Then you have a chance to get away since they don't see you directly. And then the first controls, it's very open there. I don't expect them to do any bigger mistakes. It's very distinct with the hills and the terrain, so I don't expect them to have any problems. And then 7-8, you have a possibility when you run over the cotton area to get an overview of the race. If you're 20 or 30 seconds behind, you might see the other runner. And then in the second part of the race, you have some route choices. You have the possibility to take a risk if you're a bit behind. So I think that's very good course planning here. And then the 15th control is actually quite a tricky one. It's green there, the visibility is lower than in any other place of the course. So if you're a bit stressed there, there's still a chance to do a mistake, or the risk to do a mistake.
Yeah, if we have a big group near the end, then if a couple of people make the mistakes, that could really be costly right at the end when you're really stressed. This is the start list though.
And we see that Tove Alexanderson, she has a big gap compared to Anastasia Rudnaya, almost 3 minutes. So that's she will almost be at the first control when Rudnaya is starting. And then we see that behind there, I think there will be groups. And also, I mean, on the second part, when you have this opportunity to take different route choices, there's a risk that you fall off the group, but some of the runners, they just have to take a little bit of risk today. Others will just follow and hope for the very last part from the last control into the finish.
But as you see the start list going down, we're sure to have lots of mini battles, lots of groups forming, and even just hopefully a good competition for some of the minor places as well. We've got any surprises, people who've missed out?
Well, for sure we have a big surprise. The world champion in the middle distance, Natalia Gempele, she's out. She missed this 8-minute gap. If you were more than 8 minutes behind after the first race this morning, then you come into this must start 20 minutes behind, and she missed it by 8 seconds.
Yeah, so they'll start, anyone who finished 8 minutes behind or over this morning will go 20 minutes behind today. Here, though, is our first starter, the leader of the competition, and Tove Alexanderson. He'll be looking for her second win already in this World Cup Round 3. She took the long distance title yesterday. She's in a good position and really has a great gap over the rest of the field. 2 minutes and 46 seconds is her advantage, and of course she'll have had the past few hours to think about what her tactics are going to be, but she, unusually for her, first one out in the forest, she's really got to attack this hard.
I mean, the situation is from the beginning quite similar to a relay, but at the same time it's not, because you know how big your gap is down to the other runners, so you have some time to prepare, which can be a big advantage, but it can also make you a little bit nervous. But I think, if you have 3 minutes to the other runners, then you can take it a little bit more calmly and maybe put some like buffer into your orienteering when it comes to the technique.
Well, Alexanderson might need to do that because we know after the middle distance at World Championships, she's not invincible.
Yeah, but I think at the same time, I mean, the visibility here is much better. I don't think there's this risk. You don't have this slope orienteering as you had at the World Championships. Well, I don't expect it to happen again.
Well, Rudnaya from Russia, the 28-year-old, will start second. So she's getting 2:46 behind Alexanderson. That's the gap. She's got one gold medal from the World Championships in a relay in 2016. So a good team runner, and this is how you can see the rest of everybody queuing up behind. They're split into 3 different channels and then set off at the right moment. And then as we get further down the list, there are a couple of people starting on the same second, and a few runners just going very, very close to each other. We should also mention Sabine Hauswirth. She's maybe running on her own for quite a significant portion of the race.
If you see the start list here, we see that Rudnaya and Olsson, they most probably will run together, but then after we will have a group from Sara Hagström to Lina Strand, and Sabine Hauswirth is exactly in between this group in front and the group behind, so it will be interesting to see if she can manage to catch the group or if she will be caught.
Yeah, you've got to think about when you're timing maybe an attack in the race to see if you can catch somebody up, if you can see them ahead, and there really is a possibility of that because there is a lot of visibility in the train.
And we are ready to start the second. Some applause for Anastasia Rudnaya.
So the clock is counting down for Rudnaya, second runner out into the terrain today. She's got nearly 3 minutes to catch up on Alexanderson if she's going to make any impact on the victory today. Third now, Caroline Olsson from Sweden, bronze medalist from yesterday, and she will already have the Russian, of course, in her sights, and this is what it's going to become like throughout the rest of the race.
She will push very hard here on the first meters to get in contact with Rudnaya. As I said, she wouldn't see her in the green part directly after the start, so it's a good thing to get in contact as soon as possible.
So Sara Hagström, there's the next to start from Sweden. The Swedes having a good morning, in fact a good couple of days so far. So got a couple of seconds now, and will be closely followed by Maija Sienoja of Finland. So the gap now 4 minutes behind Alexanderson, as we see Marianne Andersson, the 6th out into the forest. Of course, the 2:06 gives you an idea of where their position was after this morning's race.
Next is the first Swiss racer at 4:30, number 208. Erste Schweizerin am Start mit 208, Sabine Hauswirth. Richard Fion Hauptgerut. 4:30 in the gap to
And here we see for the first time the GPS, since it was a replay from the start. So Alexanderson, she seemed to have started good into this competition, no problems to the first and second control. This is Sara Hagström at the first control.
Yeah, and that's the group there, and this looks like Lina Strand as well here, and she's started at exactly the same time as Anderson, but we've also got Sabine Hauswirth who's caught up.
Exactly, so she was able to catch those 30 seconds already to the first control.
And that's a very attacking and aggressive start.
I think that, for sure it was her tactics to start like that. You want to catch, not to be caught.
Yeah, exactly. Every runner that overtakes you is a place that you're dropping down the field. And here's another big group of all the runners. We've got Alexandra Hornick, Camilla Larsson, Disa Kosova, and Kina Hansteva in there as well. these women have 5.5 minutes to catch, and that's a massive ask, I think, for this race. It's only 5.9 kilometers and an expected winning time of 47 minutes. And here's another group.
I mean, it's 5 minutes to Tove Alexandersson, the leader, but it's only 2 minutes to the second place, so there's still a chance to get the top 3. You see that Abersold and especially Marika Taini, they had a good start. They were faster than Tove Alexandersson to this first control. But of course, Alexandersson is all alone, and they have many runners in front of them. So it's a little bit easier to be fast when you're behind and have the backs of the other runner.
And especially because they all know they've got the same course as well.
Yeah. That's also a thing that's different compared to the relay. Some of the runners, they will just, I mean, they feel very comfortable knowing that they don't have to be active in their orienteering. Some other runners, they would prefer to be on their own, I think, and yeah, and not let the others have some advantage by using their technique. But I mean, in the end, it's the same for everyone, and it's all about being first to the finish.
Yeah, first to the finish is the winner today. Alexandersson, with a huge advantage from the morning, is of course maintaining that, but we can see chase on from the second and third place runners.
Now we are at the second split, and we see it's Caroline Olsson coming, and still together with Rutnaya from Russia.
So Caroline Olsson was 2 minutes 58 behind at the start. So gained 1 second.
But they lost some seconds to the first TV control, so they were able to pace up a little bit here.
But you need to be catching significant times, to be honest, if you're going to be able to catch Alexandersson.
And here she is. And as you see, it's very open in the forest here. It's easy to see the contours, so I don't expect them to do any mistakes in this part of the race. So for Tove Alexandersson, this is a very comfortable situation because you have some time to get into the race. The visibility is so good, you can just focus on the terrain, and it gives you a good feeling, and you can get into a good rhythm and do some good orienteering here in the beginning. And it will be different in the second part.
Yeah, it really will. Here it's pretty much just straight to every single control, and as Jenna said, it's easy to see the landforms, so you can really be able to push it. But here we've got Marianne Andersson, who's caught up and overtaken Sara Hagström and Maja Sienoja here.
And she was also starting at the same time as Lina Strand, and we don't see her in the picture yet. This is Sabine Hauswirth, and there is Lina Strand.
So Sabine Hauswirth also going well, but drop behind now are Sara Hagström and Maja Sienoja. We haven't seen them through yet. They started in 4th and 5th positions.
And Sabine Hauswirth is exactly as fast as Tove Alexandersson so far. This is Silje Ekroljaren from Norway, finishing in 7th position. So also a good start for her. She was 5 minutes and 12 seconds behind at the start.
Henrika Heikkinen through there, as well as Lotta Kohola, but we're still missing 4th and 5th placed.
Sara Hagström and Maja Sienoja, here she is. And here we also see Sara Hagström.
And so we could possibly talk about controls 7 to 8. There's a possibility, maybe a little bit of route choice on that one.
Yeah, it's you can choose to go a little bit more to the right or direct, but I think most of them will try to see the runners in front of them and just. I mean, you really have a possibility there to catch them, to gain some meters, since you see for like a long distance ahead. And you would just try to get their backs and close the gap there.
Here's the fight for second and third at the moment. Caroline Olsen leading the way, and Rudnaya managing to keep in touch, and that may have been part of her tactics. Let Caroline Olsen catch her up and then just stay hot on her heels, because you'll get a big advantage going round with somebody else.
And now it seems as if they have some problems. Rudnaya seems to have understood the situation now. Here's the control.
Yeah, probably just lost in a parallel re-entrant.
And now they are on this leg to control 8 over the Katten area.
But have lost about 20 seconds or so from split 2 to split 3. They were running about the same speed as Alexanderson, but just dropped a little bit in that moment there. Now we're looking for the big train of people coming through now. It looks like it's being headed up by Marianne Anderson. Yes, there she is, looking around to see if she can spot the re-entrant and the control that she's looking for.
At the last TV control, she was 4 minutes and 15 seconds behind.
Having a good race, but not quite spotting the control yet. You can really see how she's moving, just looking all around her. I think she's got it now.
So now it is 4 minutes and 14 seconds, so she was 1 second faster on this part of the race. Here we have Lina Strand and Sabine Hauswirth.
They look like they've made a small gap on some of the others.
They were 4.5 minutes behind, so they lost some time here.
And Sabine Hauswirth looking closely at where she's going to go next.
And that's now the situation I talked about. They will see, I think they will see Marianne Andersen now on the way to the 8th control when they are on this open area where we see Caroline Olsen at the moment. So then they will have a feeling about how big the gap is, and it gives them some advantage in how they will put on the tactics for the second half. They might take a little bit more risk if they feel that they have to do that to get a top 3 position today.
But these women, they won't have anybody to chase ahead of them.
No, since the gap compared to Tove Alexanderson is just too big.
But Caroline Olsen looks to be making much better work of this open area. Lots of branches and things on the ground in the feld area. But maybe not. Rudnaya also doing pretty well.
It's maybe not the nicest part of the course. It's all about not getting lazy in this Katten area and keep on being aggressive here in this part of the race.
But this is our arena passage, and Tova Alexanderson, taking on some liquids, is still in a very good lead. She's not dropped any sort of time going through this arena, where she will turn over her map and get to see the second part of the course, which is a little bit different. It's not quite as many features, generally a bit flatter, and I think when we come to some of the runners going in groups, there will be the opportunity for people to take risks and see if they can gain small fractions of seconds or by going a different route.
That's the standing at the TV3, the one we have seen before. You see that the gap still is a little bit more than 3 minutes between Tove Alexanderson and Anastasia Rudnaya. And interesting also that Marianne Andersen at the moment is able to run away a little bit from Lina Strand and Sabina Hauswirth, and they are running together, which actually should be kind of an advantage.
And then looks like another small group being made, Camilla Olassen, Tilje Kroliaren as well. 3 athletes running together. We should very soon be seeing our chasers through the arena. Caroline Olsen and Anastasia Rudnaya are chasing Alexanderson, but I think it'll be more they will be thinking about the silver and bronze medals more than the gold.
And here we see also the coaching zone, and I think that can be some quite important part of the race today as well, to get some information about the standing, and also then to decide how much risk do I have to take. Is there any possibility to get a top 3 position today, or should I just try to save my position I have at the moment?
Yeah, because Olsen and Rudnaya, as they pass through the arena, they'll want to know, maybe more than Alexanderson ahead of them, they'll want to know how far the others are behind them to see if they could make any threat to their silver and bronze.
And here we have Tove Alexanderson, and she is out on the cutting area. This shows us that she is choosing a very straight option on this leg to control number 10. There's another option a little bit more to the left, where you can use first the street and then a small path, and then you get into a very open area. The course planner actually said that would be the fastest option, a little bit more to the left. Well, let's see if anyone is going to take this route choice.
Well, Olsen and Rudnaya are now even further behind Alexanderson. The gap's grown to 3 minutes and 13 seconds, with 5 seconds back to Anastasia Rudnaya, and they'll have got that information as they passed through the arena, turned over their map, and get to see the second half of their course.
And now I get the feeling that Olsen is stronger physically here, so this could be now it could be smart for Rudnaya to just take the other route than Olsen, to get a possibility to overtake her, because it seems that she is not strong enough to do it physically here.
Yeah, exactly. Olsen looking much stronger, but
That's a big group on the way to the 8th control.
and this is what you were saying earlier about being
Exactly.
able to see the other runners ahead of you.
Because I think in very there to the left we might see Sabina Hauswirth. I'm not really sure. No, most probably not. But you see many runners here, and they see the runners in front of them, so they get a feeling about their positions.
So that's at control number 8, with a big group and a big gap to the rest of the field. There we can see one runner in the distance, and a couple of more of them coming through the trees into this open area, this feld area.
Looks like a Swiss kid. Could be Simone Abersold. Yes, it is. The medalist from the European Champs in middle distance.
Yeah, the junior still didn't run at the World Championships, but hopefully will be there next year. And let's have a look. This is Lena Strand leading out Sabine Hauswirth. The gap now 5 minutes 39 behind Alexanderson, but let's think about what the gap is to second and third.
And we're missing Marianne Andersson still. She was in front of Strand and Hauswirth at the TV control before. The gap here is getting bigger. It was 4 minutes and 45 at TV3.
And now we've got Anderson through as with Olaussenjar and Heikkinen and Sienojas. So the Norwegians and Finns through in that group. But Lena Strand and Sabine Hauswirth now chasing in 4th and 5th position.
She was saying that the gap is 2 minutes up to the next runner.
But look at this group of Norwegians and Finns now with Camilla Olausson, 2nd place yesterday, and Anderson there.
Silvia Kroljaren.
We've also got Alexandra Hornick there and Nisa Kosova, and then Simona Abasol has also punched the control just before the arena passage.
We see that Olsson and Drutnaya are taking the same route as we have seen Alexanderson take before.
But just sticking in the forest here, hoping that it'll be a little bit easier to run through the trees as opposed to through the feld area. There are quite a few felled trees and stuff. There are some larger ones in this area. You might have to divert round. Yeah, as you can see in the distance there. But Rudnaya still hot on the heels of Caroline Olsen. But with Olsen taking the initiative and having the active orienteering always at the front here, as we've seen around this course.
But in the finish, no one will ask about who was the runner more aggressive or more active in the group. It's all about being first to the finish.
Of course it is, and they've crossed over the track now to make their way to control number 10, going round the back of this hill into more of the green parts. Olsen trying to stick in the white, more runnable area of the forest to find control number 10. Over halfway around now, and this is another of the chasing groups.
Julia Jakob, first one in the group.
We've got Tatiana Ryabkina there, Yulia Novikova, Lisa Risby, Svetlana Mironova, Galina Vinogradova, Gabia Ryzatuta.
Here we have Caroline Göterup, Josephine Chandler and Susan Lush. They are a little bit more than 9 minutes behind Tove Alexandersson.
But back in the forest, I think this is control 10.
11,
11.
I think. So now we see the gap, 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
Yeah, sorry, this is control 10, right by the agricultural area, 3 minutes 10. They gained a few seconds compared to the arena run through.
Yeah, I mean the gap there was 3 minutes and 13 seconds, so
It's neither here nor there at this stage of the race, really.
they would need a very long distance here to, if they continue like that, to catch Tove Alexandersson.
Yeah, they've only got 5 controls left. 6 controls left. But behind Marianne Andersson here in this chasing group. And again, they look like they've gone straight as well to this control number 10, just crossed over the track and going around the side of the hill.
And here we see Sabine Hauswirth, Marianne Andersson and Camilla Olausen, but we're not seeing Lina Strand, so she might have taken another route to that control.
Yeah, and here's our chasing group following this. Alexandra Hornick of Poland, also there.
There was a possibility to go a little bit more to the left. Would be interesting to see if Lina Strand is showing up in front of the group or if she lost time on this route here.
Here, though, are the standings at control number 9, which is just before the arena passage. So Tove Alexandersson, 3 minutes 13 in the lead. So about 30 seconds quicker than anybody else. Here's Lina Strand, though, and maybe she's actually gone ahead of the group.
Yes, indeed. So it was faster to go to the left there, so that was a very good choice by Lina Strand. Here we have Tove Alexandersson. At 4.4 kilometers, so it's 1.5 kilometers left for her.
And now there's a 17-second gap between Strand and Hauswirth, and then another 13 seconds back to Larsen and Andersson. And Alexandra Hornick, Maisinoja and Heikkinen also seem to have kind of caught up the group ahead of them.
It will be very tough for the runners there. Lina Strand, Sabine Hauswirth and Camilla Olausen to keep the gap they have to the big group behind. There's a risk that they will group up all together.
Only 6 controls left to the finish after this 3.8 kilometers. Simona Abesold next into control 10. Dropping a few more seconds compared to Alexandersson, but doing well running by herself. Also Anna Nari is another about 30 seconds behind, with her teammate Marika Taney in 17th, Antonen in 18th. Jensa in 19th. And now we're looking at over 7.5 minutes behind Alexandersson. So here's our next TV split. After 4.4 kilometers of running, so far only Alexandersson has reached this point in the race, but here we can see the 2 chasers in the background in silver and bronze medal position.
We are waiting for Rutnaja and Olsson. They were 3 minutes and 10 seconds behind at the TV split 4. So here now it's Rutnaja has control over the situation. So it's exactly the same speed, 1 second faster here on this part compared to Tove Alexandersson.
But definitely not enough. And now that the two of them will really start thinking about the finish and who's going to get silver, who's going to get the bronze.
I mean, it can be some kind of tactic of Olsson to be a little bit behind and try to read in the last part of the course, just to be sure what to do when you come to the decisive moment. And I think on this course, the decisive moment is actually the third last control, because the second last is quite a difficult one. The last one is very easy, so you have to plan the leg from the third one to the third last to the second last control very, very carefully, so that you exactly know what to do.
And now we're nearly 10 minutes behind Alexandersson as Josefin Kinlund, Charlotte Watson and Inge Mira got into a group. And again, pretty much everybody choosing to go fairly straight, although here they've got to decide which way round the crag they're going. All three of them choosing the leftmost option there.
Yeah, if we look at the picture here, it might have been a good option.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when something's black with tags on, you probably want to avoid it. So here we are at control 12, with only the top three having reached this point so far.
We had a gap of 5 minutes and 23 seconds down to Lina Strand, and then another 17 seconds compared to Sabina Hauswirth, and another 13 seconds to Camilla Olausen.
So we should expect to see Lina Strand here first, and she had got a little gap on the rest of the field. We can see some movement in the trees. See what colour tops we can see first.
She lost some time compared to Tove Alexandersson. So now I see quite many runners here, and I don't see Strand at the moment. That's Camilla Olausen, Marianne Andersen,
and Alexandra Hornick caught up to fourth place.
Sabina Hauswirth, here is Lina Strand, Haikonen from Finland, so now they're all together.
So, small mistake from Strand, and now this group of 6 of them.
Will be a big fight for the places 4 to 10.
Yeah, so just to recap there, we had Alexandra Hornick from Poland in 4th, Camilla Olausen, silver medalist from yesterday from Norway in 5th, Marianne Andersen 6th, Sabine Hauswirth 7th, Lina Strand 8th, Henrika Haikonen 9th, and Lotta Pahola in 10th. And Sylvia Kroniaren again dropping a few places here down this pack with Helen Stover and Lisa Kosova there too. But all eyes will soon turn to our leader, Alexandersson, who's only got 2 more controls to find.
It would have been interesting to see some of the runners in this big group to go all the way down to the street and run around to the left, because that's an option for sure. Take the open field there. It's very good runnability all the way to the 13th control. So that would have been an option, but no one dared to do it here, to leave the group. And we see that very soon we will have Tove Alexandersson to the finish.
Yeah, very, very soon. And we can say that our GPS tracking is slightly behind real time. So Alexandersson will have punched control 15 very, very shortly. We will be able to pick her up with our cameras in the arena, and just looking at the tracking there, she's been able to maintain that gap over the rest of the field.
And on the group behind, it seems that maybe Camilla Olausson is choosing to go out to the field from where they were at the moment there, but her GPS stopped. And here we see Tove Alexandersson.
Yep, on the left of picture, she'll just come up over the brow of the hill. Was our first starter today. She took the win this morning with a margin of 1 minute and 23 seconds. Her starting margin today, 2 minutes 46, and she's been able to maintain that. She was the winner from yesterday in the long distance, and this performance from Alexandersson, she knew she was in a good position with a smile on her face when she started, and this is going to put her in very good stead to take a 5th overall World Cup title. She's won the overall World Cup 4 times, and the champion of the forest orienteering, Tove Alexandersson, seeming to make no mistakes today in the forest, can finish with a smile on her face, having seen nobody out there in the forest.
Yeah, and it feels as if I'm saying this sentence again and again, but very impressive run again here. I mean, she didn't have any reason to be nervous at the start. The gap was just too big, and I think you would have needed Alexandersson to be nervous to really get the others into this race today, and the gap was just too big.
And actually, well, we've seen with some of the split times, she's not a huge deal faster than some of the others down the rest of the field, but she didn't need to be.
No, of course she didn't take any risks at all, and we didn't see her GPS. We don't really know if she did any bigger mistakes or not, but I don't think so.
So here are potential silver and bronze medalists. Leading out is Caroline Olsson of Sweden with Anastasia Rudnaya chasing, and they're on their way to the 15th control.
And they are running in this slope now. They will come up to this plateau up there, and then the visibility gets lower and lower, and it's not the easiest control on the course. Of course, you won't miss it by a minute or anything, but you can lose some seconds there. And I mean, in the situation they have at the moment, that's very decisive.
Yeah, it could be very decisive if, you know, just 5 seconds, and then you've got that gap when it comes to what could be a sprint finish for the line to decide second and third. Then even a 5-second break can, I mean, also just give you the mental edge over over the other runner. And if the other runner thinks they can't make up that amount of time in a sprint finish, then, you know, that could be it all over. But just a reminder that our GPS tracking is slightly behind real time. But the two of them still looks like Caroline Olsson leading ahead of Rudnaya.
That's the thing we have seen quite often in this race. It was in many camera positions we have seen. It was Caroline Olsson taking the part of the active runner. But it won't help her if she isn't first to the 15th control.
And in the chasing group behind there, with 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th place, it looks like Sabine Housworth leading that group out. Maya Sianoya took a different route choice to control 13 and seems to have dropped almost to be a minute behind that group. Also with, well, Anderson, who we're... Nope, not Anderson,
that's
Camilla Olausson.
We haven't seen her GPS before. So it seems that she gets a gap there when by going out to the open field, and this is the decisive moment for the second place.
Well, they've emerged from the forest together, Anastasia Rudnaya and Caroline Olsson, but Caroline Olsson is really attacking just from punching that control and has accelerated down the run-in, and surely that is the gap that's going to give her the silver medal. She's going to go one better than yesterday, with Caroline Olsson really pumping her arms together there, and you can see that Rudnaya from Russia in the background has given up. She's looking behind her to make sure she's got the bronze medal sealed, but silver for Caroline Olsson, Sweden 1 and 2, and Anastasia Rudnaya, who was second after this morning, knew she did not quite have the sprint finish in her, but finishes with a bronze medal. There we go, Sweden 1 and 2 here, and good team performances all round. We can also expect Sweden to be in with a shout on the men's race. Those are the top three.
And it was the feeling I got during the whole race. Caroline Olsen was just the more active runner and also the physically stronger runner. I got that impression already at the passage here. And I think that Rudnaya, she just knew that she wouldn't have a chance when it's coming to a sprint.
So this is our next chasing group from 4th spot onwards, and Sabine Housworth looking pretty good at the moment. Seems like they've split up slightly in the forest, but maybe it's just...
But we don't see Camilla Olausen's GPS here. Now we have it, and she's a little bit ahead.
Yeah, the silver medalist from yesterday seems to have some good legs in this final part, having punched this control. And if we can see, yep, we can see her just crossing the bank down there, also being chased by another runner from Norway.
Seems to be Marianne Andersen, maybe.
Yep, so we've got Camilla Olausen looking behind her again to see if anyone can be chasing her, and then another Norwegian, Marianne Andersen there, and then Sabine Housworth is also there. Alexandra Hornig, Lina Strand too. So Camilla Olausen, who took silver yesterday, in the run-in now for 4th place. And Andersen also has to sprint so that Lina Strand from Sweden doesn't catch her up. We've also got Sabine Housworth there, and Alexandra Hornig doing well from Poland too. She caught up a lot of places there. But Camilla Olausen now on the run-in to take the 4th spot. She's the best Norwegian on home soil today, and finishes 5 minutes 30 down. Marianne Andersen, though, has to grit her teeth to hold her position, looking behind her, but is going to take 5th spot. Second Norwegian, Lina Strand from Sweden takes 6th. Sabine Housworth takes 7th, and Alexandra Hornig from Poland taking 8th spot.
Very impressive by Camilla Olausen. She started as in position 12 and ended up in 5th position. And also Alexandra Hornig, she started in 11th position and ended up in 4th position. Oh no, sorry, she ended up in 8th position, of course. Liaren now for Norway too. She started off in 10th position, so has dropped 1 spot, was in a bit higher in this chasing pack at some point in the race, dropped down in the latter stages, but Liaren taking 11th spot, 6 minutes 53 down. And Kina Hallensteva is one who's picked up a few places, having finished 14th this morning, so overtaken 2 runners out in the field overall. You can see the heads turning to just check they don't have to sprint on this finish. As Maya Sienoya crosses the line, she's dropped significant amounts of time in this race, was in 5th spot after this morning. Anita Kosova there taking 14th for the Czech Republic. We also have Anna Nari for Finland, pleased to edge out that, and Simona Abersold will go with the same time as Sari Antonen there, the Swiss junior. Marika Taney, European champion in the middle. 18th place though this time round. And now down to 8 minutes behind our winner today, of course, Tove Alexandersen. Trine Jenser also crosses there for Switzerland. Svetlana Mironova there too. And now a procession for some of the places from 20 onwards. So let's think overall about this race. Pretty much, I suppose, considering the
this morning's results as expected then, Jonas?
Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise at all that Tove Alexandersson could keep her lead all the way into the finish. She did that in a very impressive way again. She won the race by almost 3.5 minutes down to Caroline Olsson, who seemed to be very strong today. We've seen that yesterday when she took her first ever top 3 in a World Cup race, and now it's the second one here. She gets closer and closer to a victory. And I mean, we have seen what we expected, the Versen grouping behind, but it was always that it changed the lead in the group, and we have seen some changes in position and grouping up, and some runners losing the group again. So I think it was quite an exciting race.
Yeah, we didn't see too many people taking big risks, but just smaller, micro route choices in the forest.
But the thing is also they were not really fighting for the top 3 positions. We have had Tove Alexandersson, her gap was too big, and then we had this big gap from position 3 to 4, and I think the runners, they would have been more willing to take bigger risks if they could have won a top 3.
But there's still something about, having that rivalry over another runner and just beating them and being out there in the forest and having a good run.
Of course, but if you end up in 5th or 8th position, I mean, it doesn't really matter. And I mean, there's a big difference in ending up in top 3 or 5th. But 5th or 8th, I mean, then you don't have to, if you risk to go down all the way to position 12, you don't do it.
Yeah, which is probably why we saw these two in such close proximity the whole way through the race, and knowing that they're gonna have to bust it up on the run-in.
But in a way, I would have expected Rutnaja to take some risk in the end, because you really got the feeling that she has a defensive part all the way in this race. She's never really able to put Caroline Olsson under pressure at any time, so she must have expected that she would lose this sprint finish. So I would have liked her to take a little bit more risk maybe to the last control, or second last control.
But I suppose for her it's actually more, it's also about retaining that bronze medal and making sure nobody overtakes her.
Yeah, of course, but she knew from the passage that she had 1.5 minutes maybe down to the next, and I mean, they didn't do any mistakes, so the gap still must be around 1 minute if the others were really fast.
But more of an opportunity to take the risks beginning of the second half, and actually maybe that's when you could lose maybe a minute by taking the wrong route choice, you don't know, and really the opportunity to take risks at the end is not, there's not as much possibility. Anyway, we're going to turn to our flower ceremony here today before the results are made official. They'll be presented with flowers in front of the spectators here in the arena. So 3rd place there for Anastasia Rudnaya, 2nd for Caroline Olsson from Sweden. And another win on the World Cup circuit for Tove Alexandersson of Sweden, in a very comfortable position after this morning's run, and didn't seem to see any mistakes from her in this afternoon's competition. Could take it maybe slightly easier, make fewer risks.
I don't know if this is gonna end well there. Yeah, she's not experienced in that. She should put her finger on it when she's doing that.
No, it's not like the Formula One. Anyway, those are the top 3, and we can also see the standings on the World Cup after event 8, and Tove Alexandersson with a massive lead in terms of points over Natalia Gempela, who didn't even feature in today's race. Marika Taney in third, Carolyn Olsen fourth, Maya Alm in fifth. She's not here this weekend, but will be back in Czech Republic for the World Cup final. And that's a big lead. But we're very soon going to be turning our attention towards the men's race, which starts in just under 5 minutes' time. Again, with our leader after this morning's competition, Johan Runarsson, who had, well, he won by 38 seconds. He'll have a 1:16 lead today. And in second place, Albin Rudefeld, and third, Daniel Hubman. But let's talk about the course.
And we will see exactly the same, no, almost exactly the same start. I mean, the first meters out into this green area are the same. And then we have a longer loop there, 1, 2, and 3. The same here in the men's race. This is a very open area, good visibility, so I don't expect them to have any problems there. Then control 7 to 8, you will have the possibility to see other runners again. And then this second part, now we have a long leg to control number 10, and there's actually more possibilities for different routes here. You have one to the left all the way around. I think that's quite long, but you can also go to the right or straight ahead. And I think most of them will go straight, just because it's a risk to go to the right. But I think, and also the course planner, he thinks that it's faster to go to the right. We will see.
We will see who's more likely to take that risk and go round.
Well, I mean, yeah, we will see. I think the runners like Lundanes, Hoopman, they will go straight. Then I think their runners, especially if they have to risk something like Tranchant or Kibbutz, they can go to the right, and I think they would have a good time. It's not very fast in this Cotton area, and it's not very fast in the area after it. It looks nicer on the map than it actually is in the terrain. But of course, the runners, they don't know it, so it's very, well, it's very easy to just go straight.
And it's also slightly different to the first half as well.
Yeah, it's very much different, this part here, but you don't know that when you plan the route to this 10th control, to the long, on the long leg.
So let's have a look at the start list. Johan Runarsson will lead them out, followed by Albin Rudefeld and Daniel Hubman. Again, we will keep going down the start list. We've got lots of runners going off on the same second, and we'll surely see some very big groups, very close as always in the men's competition. Any surprises though we saw from this morning's qualification?
Well, I mean, the winner of the qualification was not really the one I would have guessed first. Of course, we know that Runarsson is very strong on especially a little bit shorter courses. He's a runner who always starts aggressive. There's not really, you get the impression there's no really tactic he has. There's always full speed all the way. And I think that could be kind of an advantage also for the afternoon, because as I said, the beginning, it's not the most difficult one, the forest. If he is as aggressive as he uses to be, then he can go quite fast in the beginning. And I don't think that it is a big advantage to be in a group on the first part of the race, but for sure it is on the second part. And I mean, other surprises of the morning, Lundanes is quite much time behind. Also, Matthias Kibbutz lost a lot of time, and for me that's a surprise, for sure.
3, 2, 1.
So here begins the men's pursuit with Johan Runarsson of Sweden getting it all underway, and the others of course will be chasing him down. 1 minute and 16 seconds time we'll see Albin Rudefeld head out into the terrain, and then only 14 seconds later we'll have Daniel Hubman, and 18 seconds after that our winner from yesterday, Gustav Bergman from Sweden. Albin Rudefeld in number 2, he's the next to set off, the 26-year-old. He's taken a couple of medals on the World Cup circuit. and then on the relays, but he has 1 minute and 16 seconds to chase. Not quite as much advantage as Tove Alexanderson had in the women's, so could be caught, but still pretty short race.
And I mean, here there's actually a possibility that they will group together, especially Riedefeld and Daniel Hupman. That's a very strong group if they manage to do the job together and maybe work together to get in touch with Johan Runesson. That they can be, yeah, there can be a chance to catch him.
Well, here starts Daniel Hupman, and if my calculations are correct, he's taken 79 medals across the World Cup and including the relays as well. So on the international circuit, 79 medals is the experience of Daniel Hupman. Here, our winner from yesterday, Gustav Bergman, is also on the chase.
Who had his first victory yesterday.
Timo Sild from Estonia, also underway. 30-year-old who doesn't have any medals from the World Cup.
And another surprise in a positive way, Nicolas Riot from France, only 2 minutes and 10 seconds behind in this chasing start.
Yep, he only goes a few seconds ahead of his teammate Frederick Tonchon. Now we get into some of the Norwegians. Kinneberg.
The middle distance world champion, a very strong relay runner. I think that can be a good thing to have with him today.
Yeah, because how often do you orienteer with so many people around you?
Not very often, not even in relays. I mean, but still the situation is the same. I mean, if you're in a group of 5 or in a group of 10, well, it's like it's about the same how you behave and how your tactic is. Of course, when you get to the second last or last control, you have to be a bit more aggressive to get a good position, but they're very experienced runners here, so I don't think that will be any problem.
So now they start thick and fast. We've had Rasmus Andersen, Tuur Lassen, Olav Lundenes here as well, Lexi Niemi and Wojciech Kral all starting there, but Lundenes being very aggressive and already overtaken Tuur Lassen. Now
another one who has to be very aggressive is the one next to start, Matthias Kiburz. I'm sure his goal is to get in contact with this group, but that's not an easy job.
Yep, on the right picture there, Matthias Kiburz just starting the gap. So Lundenes starts 3 minutes and 8 seconds behind Runesson, our leader, and the gap back to Matthias Kiburz is 3 minutes 42. Can it be done? We will see. But now we can see some of the tracking as they stay low.
And you see the tail is 60 seconds, so it's 1 minute, and I think it's even a little bit more than we had at the start. At the start it was 1 minute and 16 seconds, and now it looks to be at least 1.5 minutes. So as I said, a very aggressive start by Johan Runesson.
But you do move faster once you're now up into the whiter forest, so we'll have to see when we get our TV splits what exactly the gap is. That does look to be pretty good.
And my feeling is that he got a very good track there to the left. He got into this white area there, just between the green area and the hill to the right. And as we see, Albin Riedefeld, they go a little bit too much to the right, in my opinion. So I think they will lose some more seconds there compared to Runesson. But we also see that not everyone is doing that. We have, for example, Gustav Bergman and Timo Sild, and they take the same way as Johan Runesson. And now we see that they turn Riedefeld and Daniel Hupman.
Well, Riedefeld and Hupman basically got to the women's control number 1 and possibly dragged that way by a big track. They've now gone more around the hill, but they can tell that Gustav Bergman has now caught them up, and Timo Sills as well, 4 of them in that group.
Very soon we will see Runesson in the picture, I'm sure. Here he is. Very strong opening to this course.
So Runesson, well, his lead was 1 minute and 16 seconds at the start. It looks like he's had a very good start. I should say, incidentally, he was the only runner from Sweden to make the middle distance final at the European Championships.
And he wasn't selected for the World Champs, so I'm pretty sure he's very motivated to show everyone that he should have been in the team there.
None of the others seeming to make the same small mistake that we saw made by Riedefeld and Hubman.
And I'm really sure that Runesson is able to to run away from the others even more now. This is more than 1 minute and 16 seconds, I'm sure.
I think you're right. Runesson with a very good start. I think he's just lost the signal of his GPS there on his way to control number 2. So again, this is control number 1, and yep, as we can see, it's now over 1 minute and 16 seconds. So Runesson has got even greater an advantage.
And I mean, we have to keep in mind, he's all alone there, and there's a big group behind, so they should be faster actually. But that's also the risk when you run in a group. You just you trust the one in front of you, and you're just following. And I mean, for sure, the speed is quite high, even in this group. And then it's easy to not read the map and just follow.
Well, Gustav Bergman now goes through in second place, 1 minute 52 behind. We've also got Riedefeld, Timo Sills, Daniel Hubman and Frédéric Tonchon in that group as well. I think Tonchon's caught up a couple of places. And there is 5 of them there in that group altogether, but they are not gaining, in fact they are losing seconds.
Yeah, Tonchon, he actually gained 22 seconds compared to Runesson, so he opened very strong.
And overtook his teammate Nicolas Riot, who's now down in 7th spot. So in second place there, Gustav Bergman, who was yesterday's winner. He said he's had a bit of back injury this season, but dropped. Said he was feeling a bit this morning, but hopefully in better shape this evening.
Let's see how fast Olav Lundanes is. He was starting 3 minutes and 8 seconds behind, and here he is. And he is faster so far than Jan Runesson. 14 seconds on this first control.
And this is a good group to be in. Jesper Tunneberg, Joey Haddon, Kevin Saver, Vitek Kral, Lexi Niemi to a Lassen there, up to 14th spot.
Let's see if Kiburtz is close to the group here as well. This is Magnus Daly, I think, and here we have Kiburtz. So I think there's a chance for Kiburtz to actually get contact to the group, but I mean, it's not a very nice job to close that gap. And I don't think we will see any other runner in the next minutes taking the lead there away from Lundanes in this group.
So this is this mini mistake here by Riedefeld and Hubman, which saw Bergman and Sills catch up. Pretty much, I reckon they just got on a track to the women's control, which was on the knoll just north of the tail of the track there. So,
and we see that Runesson, he did a mistake to the third control. I'm sure he lost about 20 seconds at least, if he was at the control, but yeah, he was there. So I would say 20-30 seconds he lost there.
If not more. The gap was, what, 1:52, and now I reckon it's less than a minute. If you think the tail of the GPS tracking there is 60 seconds, so lost over a minute, or possibly a minute and a half.
And in my opinion, he might be a little bit nervous anyway, because I mean, it's open there, the visibility is good. Okay, just in the part where the control is, the visibility is a little bit lower, but I mean, he was not in that part when he did the mistake. So he should, yeah, it's unexpected for me.
And now as the others reach the brow of the hill, they'll be able to see ahead of them and know that they've caught something up. Let's have a look what happened here.
And he seemed to have had some problems already to the second control, maybe some hesitation there. And then he didn't get the spur there and gets into this, yeah, he just gets onto the wrong spur and following it to the knoll instead of the hill.
So now they're less than 60 seconds away, and we'll really be chasing. They'll be able to see him here.
Not really sure if they see them there, but they will see him in the at least, latest in the captain area.
We've seen Ralph Street, Frederick Paulson, Alexander Chaplin, Olli Marcus Kleiman, Jonas Ecker, Gerner Emerson Kirschbauner, Andreas Kiebert, Jan Petzela. Big group down to 35th, and Emil Svensk there as well.
And they have about the same speed as Runesson had to the first control. And they are coming closer and closer here. I think, yeah, now they might see him in the uphill there. As I said, the visibility is good at that point. So, yeah, I think they see him now.
And it's good if you have a runner to chase if you know they're running in the right direction. You just need to chase them when you're going on a straight line like this to control 4.
Yeah, and it also gives you good feedback about your running speed in the beginning. That your technique is good, the speed is good. It's always nice to catch runners.
And it's always nice to catch runners when they were in the gold medal position.
Of course.
So here we are at split number 2, after 2 kilometers of running. And we're still looking for Jan Runesson from Sweden to be our leader at this point, but being caught by the chasing pack. The gap at split number 1, at control number 1, was 1 minute and 52 seconds. But now surely it is less than that. Here's Runesson, though, into split control number 2.
Still all alone. Yeah, they don't see him at the moment, I think.
So after 13 minutes of running.
They saw him.
Yep, Gustav Bergman and Tronchon. Tronchon's going well. He's caught up now into 3rd spot, with Timo Sild also there. We're looking for Daniel Hubben. There he is as well. And William Lind. Riedefeld. So now the gap is only a matter of 12 seconds. So that mistake from Runesson.
Yeah, I would say 1.5 minutes. It costed him there. I mean, the mistake itself, it didn't look too big, but we don't know how much hesitating it was, how long time he had to stop by the knoll there to get, to get the control over the situation again. And I think we see Olof Lundanes there.
Yeah, he's just behind the tree, but still heading up this chase group.
Big group.
How much well, we've got to remember the mistake was made at the front of the group, but it certainly puts this chasing group in a good position. So they're about just over a minute behind what will surely now be our leading group. So William Lind, Olof Lundanes, Joe Haddon there, Brigitte Kral, Nicolas Rio, Guttenberg in there too, Matthias Kiebert's there.
And Lundanes, he was 1 minute behind Gustav Bergman at the first control, and I think it's a little bit more now, so Gustav Bergman is going strong here, or this group altogether. It's especially Frédéric Tronchon who's going very strong in this first group, in this first chasing group.
So the leader now pretty much been absorbed into the first leading group, and that contains 6 runners. The 6 runners now at the start of this race, leading into control number 6, and then that chase group led by Lundenes, and it looks like William Lind in there as well. We've got 10 runners in that chasing group, from William Lind down to Tua Lassen, separated by 23 seconds at the control we saw there. But here are our leaders, and Gustave Bergman there in picture, running ahead of Frédéric Tranchant from France.
So the winner from yesterday is taking the lead also in this race today.
Timo Silva of Estonia there in 3rd.
I think this is quite a nice situation for Frédéric Tranchant. He knows that he is probably the strongest runner in this group when it just comes to plain running. So he doesn't have to take any risks at all. He can trust on Gustave Bergman, which everyone knows is a very good runner when it comes to technique. So just be in 2nd position here and try to stay in the group, have control over the situation, maybe have control over if someone leaves the group for another route. But I'm sure he feels very comfortable in that position.
Yeah, would you expect Gustave Bergman to be leading that group?
I expect all the runners there to let him lead, yeah, actually. I mean, he won yesterday's race. He obviously feels comfortable in this terrain, and as long as he is going okay and not doing any mistakes, why should he go up and stop the train?
Exactly, so everyone behind can try and conserve some energy, just stick on the heels and actually just not have to think as much.
And let's see how big the gap is down to the next group. It was 1 minute and 20 seconds.
But now being led by Lundenes. As well, Kibert's there. Think overtaking.
This is a group with very strong individual runners. There are quite many World Championships titles in this group.
Well, the gap is pretty much the same, though, behind the chasing group. Still about 1 minute 20. And I think there's 11 runners were in the group, though we've possibly lost some off the back. But here we are again, back with our leaders. And they've just got to chase each other through this felled area.
And again, I think the gap down to the next group is too big. They won't be able to see them. It was more than a minute. It was 1 minute and 19 seconds. So that's a good thing for them, because that gives the chasing group the bad feeling. They don't see them, and they don't get the feeling that they're soon in contact.
So if you're Daniel Hubben at the back there, is it a case of fold up your map and just keep running?
Well, I don't. It depends. I don't know really how he feels about the speed. I'm sure he has control over the situation when it comes to route choices. But I mean, if you look at this leg, you feel that there's no bigger route choice to take. You can, or if there is, it's more a micro route choice, and you don't lose very much time. So it's better just keep in the group, and then you can. Yeah, I mean, you can just run for for some minutes and let your orienteering technique rest for a while and focus on the second part. And I'm sure he will be more active when it comes to this when he comes to the situation where he has to decide which route he should take.
So Ralph Street there into in this chasing group. It looks like we lost Gathanseva and Tuolassen off the back of now the second group. So Martin Egon and Ralph Street there, 3 minutes 45 seconds down, and that was the lead of our third group. So first group being led by Gustav Bergman, and then about 1 minute and 20 seconds later, our second group being led by Lundenes, as you can see on the tracking there, and then our third group, 3 minutes and 45 seconds back. But as I think Jonas has said, the tracking and the gap was such that once Lundenes' group emerged from the forest into there, they couldn't see but here.
I think they do a small mistake there. They came too far down, and I don't really understand. I mean, that's a classic situation. We would not see 6 guys missing that control if everyone would read the map, because you see this Katten area. It's quite. I mean, it's very well visible, and you also have this vegetation border there that helps you. It's not a control you would miss. Not 6 guys would miss that control in an individual competition.
So looks like Tonchon leading there, and Gustav Bergman obviously leading the group out. He went the furthest off the line, just too close, just too far down the hill at this point, and it now looks like the group being led by Lundenes are going to be less than 60 seconds behind our leading group.
Let's see, maybe 45 seconds.
So some mistakes at the start of both the races.
And now we see that it is Frédéric Tranchant taking the lead here. So now he doesn't trust Gustav Bergman anymore.
No, we have Timo Sild in second, and then with Riedefeld there, Runeson, Gustav Bergman, and still in 6th place, Daniel Hupman. So 9 seconds now spreading them. And Tranchant, in terms of distance, he's got the biggest gap. But now it's going to actually get interesting, because we have a route choice over to control number 10.
And let's see if they split up more than we have seen the women doing. And I'm sure they will hear now. They will get to know the gap down to the next group. And we will see if some of the runners, as Hoopman maybe, will decide to take another route than the runners in front, just to get a chance to be a bit more active in this group.
So here are the chasers. They were 1:20 seconds down. It's now only 51, so 30-second mistake there. And William Lind goes into 7th spot with Richard Kral 8th, Matthias Kibert's 9th, Olaf Lundenes 10th, Joey Haddle in 11th, Nicolas Rio 12th, and Skoshenberg 13th, Alexi Niemi 14th, Magni Daly in 15th. So 30-second mistake there at the lead of this race suddenly puts this chasing group into more of contention, and now we will see if anybody takes some risks.
I mean, 50 seconds is still quite a big gap, but they lost 2 minutes already, the group before. So there's for sure there's a chance for them to get in contact with the leaders. Yeah, we hear some very aggressive coaching here, and so far everyone is choosing to go straight, but now you get the chance to run out on this open field and then go more to the right, to the south, and take the street there and run all the way around. That's a possibility. That's what the course planner thinks is the fastest. I think they will go straight.
Yeah, I think it's too big a risk, too far off the line.
I mean, it almost more interesting will be what will the chasing group do, because they have to take some risks.
Yeah, and they'll get some feedback.
It seems that now we see that they are splitting up. So some of them are going out to this open field. Hoopman's going straight, as I said in the beginning, not a very big surprise. But also here it was a bit splitting. You can go to the bit more to the left, or you can go straight as over the cut-in area, as we see Hoopman doing here.
So it looks like Daniel Hibman changing tactic here.
Yeah.
So it looks like Tonchon and Timo still went straight, and everybody else has gone off to the right to go on this little bit of cut area here. And you can see Gustav Bergman and Riedefeld and Runesson. So all three of the Swedes, they're taking the right-hand route choice, which the course planner thinks is the fastest. We will only be able to see when they get to control 10. But here, you're able to put your foot down and get on the track and just try and push.
Yeah, quite. I mean, this situation is a bit strange where the cameraman is running faster than the runners, but of course he just has to run for some seconds here and not all the way. And we have also seen the chasing group behind, so they have the possibility to see the runners here.
Yeah, we could see a tail of runners, and they'll see each other down the track and just be able to fix on the runner in front and try and gain some time. Here they can just head out onto the track.
They're actually not going out to the track. I think they're choosing to take a route, something in between.
Tonchon, he was going straight, has now gone with what everybody else did. Let's see if we can find out what's been happening on the GPS tracking.
So I think this group we have seen, they decided to keep quite close to the red line, but run on this open field. Let's see if anyone is going all the way to the right, all the way around.
So you see
Not
Tonchon
so
was
far.
sticking with Timo Sild and then going up with all the others.
No one is going all the way around. We have Magne Dali and Olav Lundenes. And I think now they are very close now to the leading group. I mean, now we have all of them together in one big group. Kind of a similar situation as we have seen in the relay at the World Championships, when we had almost 10 teams together fighting for position 2 and 3.
So now they can pick up this ditch and the distinct track. But then we could maybe see, people taking micro route choices in this green area by controls 10, 11, 12.
And then especially at control number 15, which we don't, we see a part of it here in the picture. There will be a possibility to run down to the street and then out to this open field again and a little bit more around. It might happen that we see that in the men's race. We haven't seen it in the women's race, but then the control was more to the right. And we see that Jonas Ecker, he is choosing to go all the way around.
The only one so far. And if you were taking, either of the two routes off the straight line to control number 10, we think this isn't the faster one.
Well, it's the more obvious one. It's the one you see first, but I think the one to the right, Andrea, he is overdoing it there. Andreas Kiburz, he should, in my opinion, cut out to the open field and then over it and out to the street and not run this 90 degrees angle there. But then if you run to the open field, I think the one to the right is quite good. And now we see that Lundenes is going more to the right. I think that's a good decision because the green area there is really green. But there are so many, and well, yeah, they will come together again. I'm quite sure about that. Now he gets a possibility to run to this hill, this little bit more open hill, and then he gets quite a good entrance there to the control, or at least a good passage through the green area.
Here's the control, number 10, and when we last had a time check, it was at the arena where we saw Tranchant go through first, Riedefeld second, Timo Sild in third, Runeson fourth. But we'll see what happens after, at this point, control 10 with our chasing group having caught up our leaders.
Now we have about 15 runners together.
So at 5.3 kilometers, here is the control. And who can we see there first? You can see some runners in the background. Oh, here they go. Gustav Bergman still in the lead.
Tranchant in second. William Lind in third. And we have Hoopman. Heute Kral. Albin Riedefeld. Silt. Kibbutz. Lundanes. Hadorn. Kinneberg. Manudali. And Johan Runeson, the one who started first into this competition. So it's, 25 seconds. It's one group, but 25 seconds. It's quite a gap. And it takes a lot of energy to work yourself up in the group 20 seconds from the 13th position to the first position. So even if they are together, it's quite a gap there.
But those 13 runners, maybe now, they've got a slight creep forwards in that group. That's still being led out by Gustav Bergman as well. Nicolas Rio, I think, here.
Gartiana Stave. From a strange direction there.
Yeah, 40 seconds back to between 13th and 14th. So
we went from 15 runners in the group at the arena passage to 13 now. Or we had two groups there, but if we count them together, we had 15 runners, and now it's 13.
now we're getting to 2 minutes down on our leaders.
We have Jonas Ecker. We have seen him taking another route to his control. We have unstable again.
Jolasun.
And the thing we have seen there, Street and Jonas Ecker passing control number 11, but they have to go back to control number 10 first. And we see that Kibbutz there. coming from the right. We have seen him running quite extreme route to control number 10. And it still seems to be Gustav Bergman in the lead there of the group. No one else is doing the job. And also here, this part up on this hill, it's very open. It's you can compare it to the first part, to the first controls of the competition. It's quite distinct features, not the most difficult part of the course.
No, and good visibility as well. So here are some replays from this leg 9 to 10.
And we have a sync here, so everyone started at the same time. And, let's see, we see that Hallenstever was the fastest. 8 minutes and 32 seconds going straight. See that Ecker, he lost 28 seconds to the left. And
Andreas Kiberts, I think, lost so much time that he's not even on there. On the...
Yeah, but as I said, I mean, he would have been a little bit faster if he would not have gone all the way around there.
Gert Hallenstever punched it twice. I think he got 11, then had to go back to 10 and then to 11, which is why he was much faster, or faster than others on that leg.
I think we will have Lundanes coming. No, it was Gustav Bergman.
Yep, still in the lead, Tranchant second.
William Lind, Lundanes, Hadorn, Kral, Rydefeld, Hopman, Kinneberg, Kibbutz, Sild and Daly. So now we have 12 runners in this first group.
And they're actually closer together now. 14 seconds apart, so we've lost somebody.
Runeson, I think we lost. Yeah, here he is, still 25 seconds behind.
Oh, what a shame, having attacked control number 1 so well and actually getting a gap, bigger gap on the rest of the field, but then mistakes in the course, a minute and a half of mistakes, and now back in 13th spot, and although still 25 seconds behind leader Bergman at this point.
The next runner we wait for is Nicolas Rio, and now we see that Albin Riedefeld, he is leaving the group there, going to the left. That's the route choice I was talking about before. It looks quite long, but of course he has some good runnability waiting here, and he is now one of the runners who got the feeling that if I stay in the group, I don't think I am strong enough to overtake the others, so I have to take a risk. And he's going out there, running around. And I mean, we have other runners there, as I mentioned before, Frédéric Tranchant. I mean, why should he take any risk? Why should Kibbutz take any risk? They know that they're very strong runners. But Riedefeld, he has not really that reputation in the group, so for him it might be good to just take this risk and run around here.
Yeah, and it's here that his highest speed will make the difference as the others go in this green section, this section of fallen trees. Daniel Hubman is cutting across.
Fighting his way through these fallen trees there. It's not a forbidden area, it's just fallen trees.
And of course, he's been through this section of semi-open before, knows what it's like, but it's pretty runnable down there in the White Forest.
I think he will lose time there. Don't really know if... It seems very extreme to me what Hoopman is doing. And Bielefeld, I think he will... I don't know how many seconds he was behind, but he will lose some of it.
He was
12 seconds behind.
9 seconds behind.
Yep, 9 seconds. Here. Well, I think that he will be back in the group there. But it seems very unnecessary what Hoopman did. I don't really know if he started to read back on this long leg or why he was...
Well, maybe again he just feels he needs to take a risk to get ahead. But Gustav Bergman there with the blue headband is still leading, and I think Tranchon just spotted where the control is.
Another runner I will name here among very strong runners, Joey Hadon. One of the fastest guys in the field, I would say. So he has no... I mean, there's no reason for him to take any risks either, and I think he could get a really good position in this race.
So the group just catching up again. These are our chasers. And now nearly 4 minutes behind here.
So I think it was Larsen there. He's just let the others pass. I don't know what happened there.
But that group losing time on the leaders.
And now we are getting into the very decisive moment of this race. This is the last difficult control number 18. And now I'm sure that speed will be very high on this leg here.
So we've got 12 runners in the pack with Runeson down in 13th. Then we're behind Lundenes here. They're all just splitting up, going through this terrain to the second to last control here, climbing up this hill. And this is a surreal bit of navigation they've got to do. And we all know they've got to get it right to just have a massive burn up on the run in. There's 12 guys all hoping they can get their hands on a medal here.
But I think the position we see Kibutz, he's the last runner in the group. He doesn't seem very strong here. I think at the moment he is too far behind. Also Daniel Hoopman, he has to work his way up in the group to have a chance. Also Timo Silt here. Otherwise it will be difficult for them to be able to sprint for the victory.
So on the way to control 18, and reminder again, our GPS tracking is a little bit behind real time. So the next time we'll see them, they're going to cross the road and go down the ditch.
And I would say there is a good chance now for Tranchon. There's also a good chance for Hadon. And of course, we always have seen Bergman in the lead, but it seems that the others might be a little bit better when it comes to sprint. Lundenes is also up there, but he doesn't have this reputation either to be a very good sprinter, but let's see.
Right, let's see who's going to emerge from the forest first. They've just got control 19. Let's see. It's so close to call.
Yeah, still it is. I see Tranchon there. I see William Lind.
Yep,
he has a reputation
Bergman is there.
Have Hadon, but he's a little bit behind.
So William Lind punches the final control first, followed by Tranchon. Lundenes is also looking good, so too Gustav Bergman, and Lundenes is on the chase here. Still William Lind though in the lead. Tranchon's got to get past him. William Lind in the lead for Sweden, with everybody else just fighting behind. And on this is the sprint finish. William Lind still leading, takes the victory for Sweden. And what a finish here on this pursuit race with, we see Matthias Kibutz there crossing for 9th. The top 10 all within 10 seconds of each other. Hubman there down in 11th. Timo Sild into 12th spot. And can we clear up what happened on the line? I think it's going to be difficult to tell.
We, in our computer, we have William Lind in first position, Gustav Bergman into second, Frédéric Tranchon into third, and then Wojtek Kral. But they all have the same time in our computer here. And I think it's a very well-deserved victory. It seemed he did everything right when it came to the tactic. He was always there in the group. We didn't see him lead the group very much, but he was there. And he worked his way up in the group, and very fast sprint. I mean, to win a sprint decision in this group with all these runners around you, that proves that you're very, very strong. And then just have to say, I'm very happy that he performed well, because he wasn't really sure about if he should continue his career, and he said that it's quite decisive this weekend for him if he has the motivation or if he wants to continue. But I don't think he can quit orienteering now when he won a World Cup race here 1 year before the World Championships in the terrain in Østfold.
Let's see. Yeah, I think we can see Gustav Bergman getting second, Tranchon into third in the bronze, but that's really difficult to be able to see from that angle.
I think our results here are correct to at least to the fourth spot. I think it was Tranchon ahead of Wojtek Kral, falling over the finish line there.
Scenes. A word though for Runesson, who led them out, and.
Well, I mean, once he was caught, the situation is very difficult for him, because it's kind of I mean, it's not very nice. You know that you had the chance, you missed it. He also knows that he lost already 1.5 minutes or 1 minute 15. He doesn't really know. Maybe he gets some bad feelings about how the body is answering to this course. It's a very tough situation once you get caught.
Yeah, very, very tough. And then Scott dropped from the back of the group.
We have Niemi. On the way to 14th position.
And behind Nicolas Rio. But you can see William Lind was in 17th position after this morning's race, and well, 1 minute 42 down, but it started 3 minutes 24 behind Runesson. So pretty dramatic racing, and I mean,
he started in this group. He had Olav Lundenes around him. He had Matthias Kiburtz behind him. I mean, then you're for sure, you know, I mean, he's a very strong runner himself as well, but it gives you confidence to be in this group, and it makes it a little bit easier to chase.
And now we've got some more runners into the finish, and this will be battle for some of the minor positions now. With Anton Sjöqvist crossing the line, Emil Svensk 2. We've also got
Milos Nikadin.
And sprint on here. Håkan Järvseskvad, Edgar Hansdeva Street.
Petter Sila, also Karppinen from Finland.
Josh Baumer as well, and also Vegon into 26th position, and they are 4 minutes 31 behind William Lind, who took that dramatic sprint finish from the last control, well, was leading at the last control, able to maintain that position on the run-in, not let anybody past him, and he will end up with the gold medal today. Andreas Kiburtz, who we saw take some the less direct route choices, didn't quite pay off.
You can say the wrong route.
But I think this type of racing is really what we hoped we would see in this pursuit today.
I mean, it was the race we expected in the very end, but it was not the race I expected in the beginning. We saw that Runesson, I mean, he opened very aggressive. That was what we expected, but I didn't expect him to miss in the first part. So I thought that he would go on the second loop with still some seconds ahead of the chasing group. But in the end, I mean, it's tough to defend this gap you have over the big group chasing with all these very, very strong runners who can work together to catch you. And it was not unexpected that it would be a sprint in the very end between many runners, but it was kind of unexpected that they were together so early in the course.
Well, the sprint's not over with Tim Robertson from New Zealand just leading another group into the finish. They're all just over 6 minutes off the pace. But I think that's also what's quite fun about this race, is that even though, you know, you're 6 minutes behind, you can still have that intensity of competition almost. I mean, not quite to the same extent, but still pretty good. And let's have a look at, we can sum up some of the final results. William Lind there taking the win ahead of Gustav Bergman, who gets his second medal of this weekend. Tranchant into third place, a good result from him. Fourth, Wojtek Kral. Fifth, Olav Lundenes. Sixth, Joey Haddon. 7th, Magna Daly. 8th, Albin Rudefeld. 9, Matthias Kibert. And 10, Eskil Chinneberg, all within 13 seconds.
And again, we have seen a very strong Swedish team. Both victories go to Sweden, to Alexandersson and William Lind. They continue to.
They've got 4 gold medals already from this competition, all 4.
That's very impressive. They continue to perform very well here in this World Cup round, and it will give them a lot of motivation, especially the men's team, who was not the most successful one in the European Champs. They had some problems at the World Champs as well, but now, regarding to next year's World Championships, I think they got some good motivation here to train during the winter and all the way to the next World Championships.
Well, this is the mistake by Runesson here at control number 3, and that almost made the difference between the lead and the chasing group, and then just catching here. But we can see the difference there between Lind and Bergman here, with Lind catching up on Bergman the whole time.
And then we will see this mistake by Gustav Bergman to the 8th control, and that's really where they opened up to, like, I think it must have been the first time they might see the group, the chasing group might see the group in front, and I mean, that gives you a motivation boost for this last loop.
Yeah, about a 30-second mistake there, and then we know by the time they crossed this area, the area of open, that they could definitely see the runners ahead.
They didn't split up as much as I expected here, but I mean, everyone in the group, it's just a big risk to leave it, and if no one else is doing it, then you just try to stay in the group as well, because if you're alone, the chance that you can, like, defend this gap, even if you get some seconds on more than, I guess it would be like 2.5 Ks, that's like, the chance for that is quite low, and it's a big risk to take.
It really is, and you can just see here how they are all sticking together. Runesson not quite as fast as the others, just dropping off the back. So we saw Daniel Hubman take a different route choice to 16. And then from here on out, they're all thinking about what they've got left in their legs for the finish.
It was all about to get the right position in the group. I wouldn't like to be the first one there. It's a lot of pressure, and you try to get the control. Of course, if you get it in front of the others and you have some meters, then it's an advantage, but it's a big risk that the others, they can save some energy, they can focus all the way on the sprint, and the man in the picture, he did it very well.
He really did. So now we can have the flower ceremony for the men's race. They'll be called up onto the stage, get some flowers before the results are made official later on this evening. After any protests if that happens, but pretty clear result today. So third place today from France, it was Frédéric Tanchon. And second place, getting the silver medalist, second medal of this competition, it is Gustav Bergman. And first place, the winner of the sprint finish here today, William Lind. You see that number 17 means he was 17th after this morning's competition. Caught up the leaders as mistakes were being made at the front of the field. Should say Tanchon also had a good race, pulling up from 8th spot into third place there. We'll see if the men can do a better job with the champagne this time.
Same tactic as Tove Alexandersson. Yeah, now seems to be a little bit more experienced shaking the champagne there.
So those men are here on the picture, the top three from today's pursuit race. The three men with the fastest legs, and once again smiles on the faces of Swedish runners today.
I would also like to say that it's very well deserved that Gustav Bergman is up there, because he might have been the most active runner today in the field. He was in the lead for quite a bit of the whole distance, so I'm quite happy for him that he made it up into this second spot. It feels right.
Yeah, it feels good on this type of race when the ones that are doing the orienteering, or it appears that they're doing the most orienteering because they're leading it out, get that reward of a medal in the end, because it is orienteering. It's not just a running race. Even though we did see a big group of up to 15 runners at one point in this race. And as you said, the Swedish team will rightly be taking a lot of confidence from their performances today. So we're going to leave you with some pictures of the men's relay. We'll be back again tomorrow morning. Well, pictures of the pursuit. We'll be back again tomorrow morning for the relay, where Sweden will be hoping to put in some good performances again in the mix for the medals. We will see you tomorrow.
Yeah, goodbye.
Russia. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And for Alexander Chavez, of course, for Sweden. And there she is on course as number 2. Yesterday as well. There she is off in the Swedish set. 3 Swedes in the top 4 here. Sarah Hoxton, the next, will start 3:42 behind. She is 44 seconds. The speed, and just now she's punching the last control, and she's going to make it 2 after 2. The super. She is the superwoman, and 2 after 2 for Tora Alexandersson in Norway. 32 minutes and. Grattis Tora! Stora applaus för Alexandersson! What a sprint! And congratulations to Anastasia Romaya, third place for Russia today. Great fight from the Russian as well. Course just now. He was in Estonia, another 8 seconds behind. It's a no-starter probably, and then Fredrik Trasov. World champion, 2 minutes 46 down.